Hello students, today we will discuss the Indian Constitution's key features. In the last video, we have discussed about the meaning and need of the Indian Constitutions. As you all know, the beginning of the 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for independence, as we discussed in the previous video, from British rule for several decades. Struggle, the nationalists had devoted a great deal of time to imagining and planning what a free India would be like. Under the British, they had been forced to obey rules that they had very little role in making. The long experience of authoritarian rule under the colonial state convinced Indians that free India should be a democracy in which everyone should be treated equally and be allowed to participate in government. पहले क्या था अंग्रेजों के राज में, तो वहां पे कास्ट सिस्टम था और अमीर गरीब ये सब देखते थे और वो डोमिनेटिंग थे। जो ब्रिटिश थे वो जो कहते थे वही करना पड़ता था इंडियंस को। सो दैट्स व्हाई दे वांट टू बी डेमोक्रेटिक। डेमोक्रेटिक मीन्स कि वो अपनी मर्जी से जो लोग हैं वो पार्टिसिपेट करते थे गवर्नमेंट में। What remained by the beginning of the 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for independence from British rule for several decades. During the freedom to be done then was to work out the ways in which a democratic government would be set up in India and the rules that would determine its functioning. कि कैसे होनी चाहिए गवर्नमेंट, कैसे काम करना चाहिए इसको, they all have decided in the constitution. This was done not by one person but by a group of around 300 people. How many people were there? 300 people who became members of the Constituent Assembly in 1946 and who met periodically for the next 3 years to write India's constitution. As we discussed in the previous, they have taken 3 years to make the constitution. So we have there are four features main which we have to discuss: federalism and parliamentary form of government, separation of powers, fundamental rights, and fifth we also discuss in this, that is a secularism. So we will start with the federalism. What is the meaning of this? This refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. हमारी कंट्री में भी क्या है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है. There are more than one level. In India, we have government at the state level and at the center. Panchayati Raj is the third tier of government. The vast number of communities in India meant that a system of government needed to be devised that did not involve only one person sitting at the center. अगर बीच में कोई पूछने वाला ही ना हो कि हमें जो भी बात करनी है, जो पावर, जो भी हमें इंफॉर्मेशन मिलनी है वो सीधी सेंटर से मिलेगी, तो काम हो नहीं सकता. इट्स इम्पॉसिबल. सो only person sitting in the capital city of New Delhi and making decisions for everyone. So it is not possible. So the Constitution of India provides for division of power between the union and the state government, or you can say with the central and state government. It also fulfills some other features of the federalism, such as the rigidity of the constitution, written constitution, bicameral legislature, independent judiciary, and supremacy of the constitution. Thus, India has a federal system with unitary bias. The second is the separation of powers. According to the constitution, there are three organs of government. These are the legislature, the executives, and the judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representative. When you go for the votings, आपके पेरेंट्स भी वोट देने जाते हैं, जब हम उनको चूज कर लेते हैं वो क्या बन जाते हैं? इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स, लेजिस्लेचर. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing law and running the government. तो जो इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स होते हैं उनमें से कुछ एक सिलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ही एग्जेक्टिव पावर्स होती हैं जिनके पास, वो एमएलए एमपी बनते हैं. The judiciary of which you will read in unit 3 of this book refers to the system of courts in this country. हमारे यहाँ पे कोर्ट है, स्टेट लेवल पे है, नेशनल लेवल पे है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट है. In order to prevent the misuse of powers by any one branch of government, the Constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers, because इन सबको अलग अलग powers मिली हुई हैं काम करने के लिए. Through this, each organ acts as a check on the other organs of government, and this ensures the balance of powers between these all three parties. कौन कौन सी हैं? The legislature, the executives and the judiciary. The word state is often used in this chapter. This does not refer to state government. State government is different from the state. Government is responsible for administering and enforcing law. The government can change with elections. कभी बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट आ गई, कभी कांग्रेस की आ गई, कभी आपकी आ गई. But the state, on the other hand, refers to a political institution that represents a sovereigns, people who occupy a definite territory. The Indian state has a democratic form of government. यहाँ पे कौन सी गवर्नमेंट है इंडियन स्टेट में? डेमोक्रेटिक. The government is one part of the state. The state refers to more than just the government and cannot be used interchangeably with it. So state is the wider scope and government is the part of that narrow part of the state. Next is parliamentary form of government. The different tiers of government that we have read in previous slide consist of representative who are elected by whom? By the people, by us. The Constitution of India guarantees universal adult suffrage for all citizens. What is the meaning of universal adult suffrage? Yes, above the age of 18, a person can vote. When they were making the constitution, the members of the Constituent Assembly felt that the freedom struggle had prepared the masses for universal adult suffrage, and that this would help encourage a democratic mindset and break the clutches of traditional caste, class, and gender hierarchies. क्योंकि इसमें हमने पहले पढ़ा ही है यूनिवर्सल अडल्ट फ्रेंचाइज में कि अबव द एज ऑफ 18 वो चाहे किसी भी कास्ट, क्लास या जेंडर से बिलोंग करता हो, कैन वोट, ही और शी कैन वोट. This means that the people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. Also, every citizen of the country, irrespective of his or her social background, can also contest in election. वो खड़े भी हो सकते हैं इलेक्शंस में, कोई भी पर्सन हो. These representatives are accountable to the people. और ये किसके लिए अकाउंटेबल है? इनको किसको आंसर देना होता है? लोगों को, because these are elected by the people. The next is fundamental rights. The section on fundamental rights has often been referred to as the conscience of the Indian Constitution. The colonial rule had created a certain suspicions of the state in the minds of the nationalists, and they wanted to ensure that a set of written rights would guard against the misuse of state powers in independent India. जो हमने elect भी कर लिए हैं हमारे जो persons हैं for the democracy, they will not use their authority or they will not misuse their authority. So for that, to safeguard us, the Constitution has given us fundamental rights. therefore protects citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of powers by the state. The Constitution thus guarantees the rights of individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. Moreover, the various minority communities also express the need for the Constitution to include rights that would protect their group. The Constitution therefore also guarantees the right of minorities against the majorities. As Dr. Ambedkar has said that about these fundamental rights, their object is twofold. The first objective, that every citizen must be in a position to claim those rights, and secondly, be binding upon every authority that has got the power to make law. So, in these fundamental rights, we will discuss right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and rights to constitutional remedies. What is the right to equality? This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the law. Maybe they belongs to any religion, caste. Every person has access to all public places. कहीं भी जा सकता है कोई भी person, किसी रेस्टोरेंट, किसी प्लेग्राउंड में, किसी होटल में, कहीं भी the person can go, और कोई भी employment profession choose कर सकता है. किसी को कोई restrictions नहीं है. The practice of untouchability has also been abolished. The second fundamental right is the right to freedom. This includes the right to freedom of speech and expression, the right to form associations, the right to move freely and reside in any part of the country. आप कहीं भी जाके रह सकते हो, कुछ भी बोल सकते हो, full rights are there. Then right against exploitation. The Constitution prohibits human trafficking, forced labor and employment of children under 14 years of age. Right to freedom of religion. Religious freedom is provided to all citizens. Every person has the right to practice, profess and propagate the religion of their choice. कोई भी कोई religion को follow कर सकती हैं, कोई restrictions नहीं है. Cultural and educational rights. The Constitution states that all minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their own culture. अपना culture बचाने के लिए आप उसके लिए कुछ भी कर सकते हो. आप अपने culture को आगे लोगों में हो सकता है जितने लोगों में भी आप आगे फैलाना चाहो फैला सकते हो. कोई restrictions नहीं है. राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज. अगर आप कोई भी मिस यूज करता है अथॉरिटी के, तो आप ये राइट्स जो हैं रेमेडीज के, आप इनके पास जा सकते हो, क्लेम कर सकते हो, आप स्यू कर सकते हो. दिस allows citizens to move the court if they believe that any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state or anyone else. Next is the secularism. A secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. कि ये नहीं है कि हाँ इस स्टेट में हिंदू राज है या सिख राज है या कोई राज है किसी का. The Constitution makes India a secular state by detaching from religious dogmas. The term secular state means that all the religions present in India get equal protection and support from the state. In addition, it provides equal treatments to all religions by the government and equal opportunity for all religions, because there are so many castes and so many religions are prevailing in our country.